Natural Fresque. One of the best solar cooling systems that exist. In this video I want to show you a practical application. In it you will see how it is done step by step. Finally you will see the result of the test final. With the demonstration of temperature differences obtained in a tile applied and another not. As you can see here we have some tiles. We are going to give them a white rubber primer, also known as anti-leaks. In this case we apply the primer with a foam rubber roller, does not lose hair. As you can see the rubber is very dense, that's how we need it, so I do not recommend at all that you dilute it. We are applying the application following the curvature of the tile. In this way we favor a better finish. The primer consists of two parts. This is the first hand to get a good grip on the support. The next day will be given a second coat, that facilitates the grip of the technical grain with what we are going to cover. Remember that the primer is the basis for the system to work perfectly. For this we give a good rubber, and there is also that to be generous in its application, that is to say to give thick layers, that have a good amount of rubber. This that you are seeing is a demonstration application, which gives a clear idea of how to do the work. Here we are giving the same application but with a smaller tile. As you see it is not complicated to give the primers. This application that you are seeing, what we call priming, is applied in the same way when it comes to other supports, as can be sheet metal roof, cement terrace or tiling. And the same procedure if we apply it on walls. When it is a large installation, you have to take large curls, brushes and extensions that facilitate their application. If we have special machine to give the application by gun, it is also a good option always. And when the projection system is capable of projecting the rubber with the thickness that comes from the factory, this option is interesting when it is an application of many square meters, of the industrial warehouses, commercial ships, groups of houses, or other large surfaces. Now we will proceed to give the second coat of primer. This operation is very important. It will depend largely on the quality and durability of the final work. First of all we must leave dry a minimum of 24 hours before starting the final sealing operation. This time period is if there is a dry and hot climate. Otherwise you must leave this second coat of primer. It is necessary to insist that it has to be absolutely dense without diluting as it comes from the factory. In this way we get to prepare the support to receive the grain, and that it stays well stuck. As mentioned above, the supports can be different from the tiles, but they are applied in the same way. Now once the second primer is given we will throw the grain. The correct way to do it is to distribute equally over all the surface. Of this form there is no surplus and so it is economized in the consumption of the grate ore. This operation may seem a bit complicated. What you need is a bit of practice. For this the best thing is to do the work taking your time, while you are taking the practice for a realization of quality. In the case that we were applying it on walls, on the other hand it is frequent, as we all know there are walls that are very exposed to the sun, and it is important that are treated with the system. In these cases you have to put a plastic on the floor, to be able to pick up the excess that falls. That in the walls is a large proportion that falls given its verticality, but do not worry because nothing is wasted. Being in the plastic it will be easy to pick up, and in this way it spreads again without loss of material. To better visualize the operation is repeated with a tile, in this case of smaller size, which will then be used for temperature tests. This phase of the work is the one that requires more attention and good taste, because it depends on a strong grip of the grain to the support where it is being applied. It is recommended that this operation is carried out by two people. While one of them is printing with rubber or roller gun, the other person is throwing the grain. It is important to spread it accurately. If the work is not many square meters can also make only one person, for it is enough to have all the material at hand. And apply a quantity of rubber not too large, so it will be more comfortable the subsequent distribution of the grain. In this way the applied surface will be fresh so that the grain has a good grip. It is to take into account that the quality and durability is in the hands of the people who apply it. The more they look better the better. Result. Our recommendation is that do not do the job in a hurry. The right thing is to do it well. Having seen the previous phases, now we are going to finish the work. This phase is called sealed. and consists in joining together the grains that we had previously cast and only had been joined by the rubber. Now in this phase of sealing we are going to join them together. For this we are going to prepare the liquid that we will use as a sealant. Basically the sealing liquid is prepared with white cement, water, bleaching powder and a surfactant or foaming agent. The bleaching powders and the foaming liquid are always supplied together with the technological grain. The way of preparation it is simple and consists of having a bucket and mixing water, with the bleaching powders, the foaming liquid and finally adding the white cement. You have to beat it well obtaining a rich foam. You can do it with a professional blender, or with a composite blender by a simple drilling machine and a work blender rod. As you see, once mixed it is applied to a curl, preferably the curl should be of foam rubber. To work better, put a pal or to the curl. In this way you will apply it with all comfort. Remember that you have to remove the liquid during the entire duration of the application. We have already reached the last phase of the video. Checking the results, here is shown and shows how the system works for it. You just have to observe the temperatures that we show you with the digital thermometer. It is clearly seen how the sun's energy is reflected and how evaporation causes the latent heat to come out instead of entering. This test demonstrates the effectiveness of the natural fresque system. As you will see, the way of working is to produce an absence of heat where it is applied. If for example you have it applied in your home, the outside heat cannot enter and hence you get a comfortable temperature that allows you to live without using air conditioners. For the demonstration the tile has been moistened, therefore it is in the evaporation phase. If you liked it, give it to me and subscribe to the channel.